ladies and gentlemen, we've got an update with Donald Trump responding to all of the rumors persisting on the internet in regards to the Epstein situation, the initial Bongino supposed ultimatum of him taking Friday off of his job and saying he was going to potentially resign if Bondi was not gone. Now Patel puts out a statement, Cash Patel that is, saying, oh, the conspiracies, the rumors are fake. I will serve President Trump as long as he wants me, dispelling the notion that him and Bongino came together and said, we're either going to resign if Bondi's not gone, or if she's gone, we'll stay. Apparently that's not what Patel is saying. It's false. And then you've also got the situation. This is Trump's response. We are hit with an immediate wall of text from Trump. And the summary of this response is that Trump says the files were written by Obama, Hillary. I think he also said James Comey. So we hit on that. It just, the blame game here. And just now he's just throwing random things out there, it seems like. Trump says, we're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. He implores Cash Patel and the FBI to focus on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged stolen election of 2020, arresting. So it's a deflection from Trump here in this response. And then also, importantly, he says, Pam Bondi, let her do her job. She's great. So he's defending Pam Bondi, which a lot of people expected based on what he's previously said about Pam Bondi in terms of he's been very, very complimentary of her. And this is another situation where he stands by her. You still have to wonder, what is the rumor about Bongino? And is there seriously a rift with Bondi? There's also been other rumors to where it looked like Patel and Bongino were fine with the situation as is until they started getting negative press against them after the memo that came out on Sunday night. But Trump is just trying to deflect, say that the files were written by Obama, and he just wants the situation to go away. Now people are saying this is next level bad. They're saying, well, he's for sure in them with this type of response. I still don't think he was in them. I would imagine that this is a very, very delicate issue in terms of the governments involved, the United States, Israel, Mossad, the CIA, and it could affect a lot of people, and it could potentially affect the administration based off of how many government officials may be involved in this if things got released. But the story just continues to not add up. There was all of this. I mean, even Trump himself, even though he wasn't gung-ho about releasing it, he had said, yeah, he'll release it. He's interested in it. And he does the complete 180 and says it doesn't matter now. So we're really, really getting to a point to where people are getting angry. And it's more deflections. And it's just going to make people more curious and more wary of Trump and his involvement when it comes to Epstein. But of course, it just doesn't make sense for Trump to be involved with Epstein when the Democrats, Trump, he's been vetted 3 different election cycles at this point. He was the heavy favorite in 2024 throughout most of the cycle. You think if there was something there, the Democrats out of desperation would certainly open it up. I know it's a uniparty thing. I understand there's both sides. Certainly, the Democrats would be exposing some of their own, possibly, depending on how they did it. But you would think that would be something that they would sacrifice, especially when it comes to a modern U.S. election and how important they know that is. So that's why it doesn't make sense for Trump to be it. But these responses from Trump are really bad. He is just saying, oh, it's all the Democrats. It's Obama did it. Don't look at me. Let's move on. And so that's what Trump is saying. It was also interesting. I want to mention this. I don't know if you guys saw this. Yesterday, Tucker Carlson was at this big Republican convention with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk hosts these conventions. Tucker Carlson was there. I guess is a bigger one. And Tucker Carlson was really animated and very in it during his speech. And Carlson was undercutting Trump and making it seem like, and you people can agree, they can disagree, but at this point, based on a lot of young people in this country, me included, a lot of us are more right-wing than Trump is at this point. And what Tucker Carlson did is he made Trump look like an out-of-touch boomer with his statements. He criticized Trump on Trump's potentially giving amnesty or whatever the work program as he labels it onto some of the migrants, even though that in general, this is just a little FYI, whether Trump gives some type of temporary amnesty to 30,000 workers or what, it doesn't matter. If there's 20 million illegals in this country and their benchmark is to deport 1 million per year, you're not even getting close to the amount out anyways. I'm not saying it's good to give them amnesty. I'm just saying the immigration, that is the ultimate black pill, because we've been giving all this money and it's 1 million people. We let in potentially, I mean, people will say the numbers are around 10 million under Biden. The Democrats say it's at least 5 million. So we're letting in at least 1.5 million per year. We can't even deport 1 million with this massive ICE budget. So whether or not Trump gives this temporary amnesty or this work program, we're deporting potentially, best case scenario, 20% of the illegal immigrant population, not including self-deportations. Now, maybe there's going to be a ton of those, and they've said there's around 600,000 or 700,000. But the self-deportations are going to stop. The self-deportations, you're going to get a lot of them at the start, and then people are going to try and stay in the country. But that's just a little FYI. The point is Tucker Carlson went further right-wing, and the talking points were very familiar. And yeah, it's just interesting to see Tucker at kind of a counter-signal Trump in the way that he did and really embrace it. Because we know Tucker's been doing that, and Tucker went against Trump. He was very concerned about the strikes on Iran, and Trump won that. I mean, the entire criticism of Trump, and I don't want to get into this thing because this is we're supposed to talk about this, but the entire criticism of Trump from the Carlson people was that this was going to drag us into a longer war, because why would Iran immediately agree to some type of ceasefire or peace deal if they get bombed and their nuclear program is rendered useless? Well, that was a miscalculation by Carlson, because that's exactly what happened. We struck them, we significantly damaged their nuclear program and all of their important centrifuges. You know, you need a lot of infrastructure and a ton of centrifuges to create a nuclear bomb, and conversion centers that were destroyed. And then what did Iran do in their big response that was supposedly going to drag us into a regime change war because of Israel? They told us where they were going to strike our bases in Qatar, and not a single U.S. soldier was harmed, and all of the missiles were shot down. And then we agreed to a ceasefire. So Carlson was wrong on that. But the point is, it seems like Carlson now is shifting a bit away from Trump, and they're using this Epstein stuff. You have to understand with Epstein, you know, I want to do a video where I grade Trump, and this Epstein thing, it's really miscellaneous, right? Because where does this fit in terms of an actual, like, we're voting? And I'm not trying to defend Trump. I'm just saying in general. Like, if I'm grading Trump, I look at immigration, I look at foreign policy. I mean, maybe this goes into foreign policy, but not really. This is like a miscellaneous thing. You look at economy. You look at the geopolitical wars. I mean, it's like, it's just, this is you want to say, is it a niche thing? Is it an internet thing? Obviously, it's a very bad look for Trump. But again, if we just use our heads in terms of this idea of Trump being involved, I mean, you would think Trump, who threw Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a pervert, I mean, obviously you're gonna have a relationship, or I shouldn't say obviously, but it's not surprising Trump had a relationship. Epstein had a relationship with tons of people. It was like, oh, he was on the logs. I mean, there was a lot of people on the logs. The plane it flew a ton of places. It didn't just fly to the island. It didn't fly with Epstein in it 100% of the time. There's a lot of flights that happened. So, and by the way, the other thing with the Democrats and why they're totally discredited is because why would the Democrats not do anything with this information? If they're insinuating that Trump is doing all of this cover up to protect himself, they did the exact same thing. They protected Trump, the Democrats did. How crazy is that? So this is more of a uniparty problem. And this is Trump saying, basically, I told Pam Bondi to do this. Leave her alone. She's doing a great job. They were trying to, right? The Megyn Kelly, the MAGA people, they were like, oh, it's all Bondi's fault. She's the issue. Let's get her out. Bongino is threatening to leave. But then Trump's like, no. This is what she did, what she was told. She was told to make it go away. And this is the reality. But even the rhetoric from both Patel and Bongino were trying to signal that this is not what people are expecting. There's very little here. We have the video, the security video. We're trying to get everyone prepared to have a situation to where you're going to be let down. We didn't find anything. We're looking. That's what Bongino was saying before. And then it comes out, and then Bongino starts getting his name dragged through the mud, and he gets a little bit angry about that, I think. Something like that. That's probably what happened. And so I mean, I don't know what Trump is doing with this. I mean, it's like with the walls of text and just it's Obama's fault. It's the liberals. I mean, like he's saying Obama made the Epstein files. I mean, Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's lawyer, says they exist. He admits it. They do. They're out there. And it just this whole thing, I don't know what he's saying. I think he's just trying to pass off blame. And look, is it a niche topic? Probably. I mean, it's hard because you do this every day, and we're constantly online, so it's hard to say it's a niche topic because it feels so big. But maybe to a normie, it's a niche topic. I don't know. But I know people watching these videos, it's not a niche topic. I get it, and we would like to see this situation be dealt with, and the people that are at fault here. I mean, I think we know. I mean, Tucker Carlson, what did he also say yesterday? Tucker Carlson said something even more, I thought, interesting than talking about Mossad being involved, because now that's becoming normal. That's becoming more of a normie thing. But he was talking about it was just something about really in terms of like being like a far right take on immigration, like a very far right take. And you just have to wonder. I mean, I'm not saying Carlson's going to run in 2028, but he's setting up a way to where, he knows the younger kids are further right. And it's like he's trying to take advantage of that. And we'll see what ends up happening with him. But it was just a very interesting speech, I thought. If you should watch it. There's some interesting parts to it. It's a very aggressive speech. And, at those events, there's a lot of young kids there, very impressionable. And so it's interesting. But either way, guys, this is just a terrible response. It's another piss poor response from Trump that, you can't sugarcoat it. Now, can we say it's a niche topic? And I mean, let's grade Trump. Are we going to grade him on the Epstein files? They overdo it. They're like, oh, Trump is not sticking to his campaign promises. This was like 98th on the list. All right, maybe not 98th. No, I'm over exaggerating. 32nd on the list, right? Like, come on. And listen, I know it's bad. I'd be shocked if Trump was involved. I mean, unless it was widespread and it was like all the Democrats. I mean, this is next level horrible for the government if there's serious involvement from like many of these presidents. I mean, how deep does this go? But no, I think it's just Trump wants it to go away because there's people he knows that could be involved. And he says, well, I don't want it to incriminate them. They're not guilty. But I mean, that's charitably looking at it for Trump. Now, Trump, I mean, you would have to think, I think Trump doesn't listen to any of his advisors. I mean, who is advising Trump right now? Because these statements are they're incoherent. They don't make any sense. And you would think someone would go to him and be like, we got to have more self-awareness here. They're not happy. Let's try and fix this, rather than just saying the libs made a random list and put all the Republicans on it, and that's why I'm not releasing it, or whatever he's saying. I mean, that's probably not the best route to go. Now, you can say, in a way, and try and massage it. I mean, I thought they were going to massage it and make Bondi the fall guy, but this seems like it's a clear situation to where basically the news cycle will take care of this. In essence, there'll be other big stories that happen and people will forget about this. Now, technically, if this is how we leave off on the Epstein stuff and Bongino stays and Patel stays and Bondi stays, it's a very sore spot for the administration. There's no way to defend it. I don't even think a Republican would try and defend it. The only thing you can say is, this is not really why we voted for Trump, and the Democrats also covered this up because it's a uniparty issue. But you can't really defend it outside of that with what Trump is doing with this, because they could have came in day one, day two, and this is why it's so inconsistent with how Trump has handled this. You would think Trump would be, I understand if Trump gets in and then people around him, because he knows a lot of people, and there's probably some people that are like, you can't release this, you cannot, please don't do it. And so, he's being influenced by other people. But just in the way in which they did it, to where even at the beginning, the first few weeks, they were saying, we are going to release this. It wasn't even like Trump said, all right, I got elected. It's before the inauguration. Let's set up a strategy to quell this as soon as possible. In essence, on day 2 or day 3, or maybe like a week into the administration, say, we're coming clean. We've looked at everything and they've destroyed everything. We're sorry, they did. And so wouldn't that be easier to do than whatever they're doing where they have the phase one and they're insinuating there's going to be a phase two and the phase one is a disaster and Bondi says she's got everything and then there's no phase two. I mean, this is the other big issue because a lot of these Trump people would be fine if they just had said, I mean, they flubbed this in terms of the way that it was supposed to be rolled out. And it's made it seem very, very bad, even for just normal people that don't really pay attention because you hear phase one, oh, where's the phase two? And then Bondi says that there's all, she's got the files on her desk and then they don't exist. And then Trump is responding and saying, oh, it's Obama's fault. Bondi's fine. I love her. And like, it's just not a good look. Just the way it was handled. I mean, you know, you don't like seeing any type of cover up or anything. And it's terrible. But I mean, there was a way to do this that would have made the administration look a lot better. And it would have been within the first few weeks, say we looked over everything, they've destroyed it all, they covered their tracks, we will try and give you guys breadcrumbs throughout the administration and keep investigating it. And that would have, I mean, that would have sufficed probably the base, honestly. A lot better than whatever this is because they built expectations. That's the issue, is they built expectations. And now you've got a thing to where, you know, Trump is like he just seems, I don't know who's advising him, but you'd think there would be a statement that would be put out, probably not by Trump, because Trump just goes around and walks around the Air Force One, and you've got these ladies just typing everything. He's just like, here, this is what you need to say. And so they just type it all. And then they just put it out like this, and it's all in just one giant paragraph. There's not even spaces. Like, so I don't know. We'll have to see what ends up coming of this. I mean, you could say, well, this is a niche thing, and it's just like, we'll just sweep it under the rug, right? And, you know, when it comes to the Democrats' ammo against this, it's limited. Now, they can say, well, this is like a campaign promise. It's low on the list. They're going to exaggerate how important it was to Republicans and why people voted for him. You know, but it wasn't top 10. But, they have limited ammo because they hid this too during the 4 years of Biden. During the lame duck, why not release something during the lame duck? Why not declassify more? Now it's all on Trump. So if they really want to talk about it during the midterms, they're going to have a hard time doing it. The only thing that they can say is, well, Trump, you know, that was a campaign promise and he went back on it. But them saying, well, Trump is in the files. Well, then why did the Democrats cover it up and then Trump wins the election and they don't even say anything during Trump's lame duck period? That is a terrible look if you really think that. So see how they're kind of pigeonholed in terms of their arguments because they had executive control just, 8 months ago, 9 months ago before Trump came in. So they don't have many arguments. And also this is a situation to where you're over a year, there's runway before the midterms. So you're not going to be dealing with it. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I thought they were going to do something to try and quell this a little bit better and just have Bondi take the fall. You bring in a new AG. People were already starting to turn on Bondi. The base was turning on Bondi. Get rid of her. The problem is, like, you could have done that, but then the Epstein thing is still the same because you've already claimed in a memo that there's no evidence. So now if you release some type of evidence, obviously you were lying. So they've trapped themselves into this story. And if you get rid of Bondi, that would only, it's like Trump's like, I got to be strong now and not show weakness when it comes to the cabinet, because if I get rid of someone, it's going to show that we mishandled the situation. And Trump is trying to show strength in terms of this. But I mean, he doesn't even want to talk about the situation. He's saying, and he said this multiple times now in the last 3 or 4 days, forget about it, move on. Nobody cares about Epstein, even though the rhetoric was that he wanted to release it. It was going to be released. They had the whole spectacle of the phase 1. There was going to be the phase 2. Bondi said it was coming. It was happening. And then for whatever reason, behind the scenes, I'm sure a lot was discussed. I bet. They said, no, it doesn't exist. And that's just the reality of the government. So it is what it is. We'll see how this continues to develop. But guys, make sure you like the video down below. Also follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.